Why are you killing my brother?
In response to the shocking statement from my 4-year-old daughter, my sister-in-law, who had come to visit, grimaced. It had been a week since our 6-year-old son went missing after school. Despite our desperate search efforts, he remained unfound, and there were no eyewitness accounts. The police investigation was also proving difficult. However, our daughter, who possessed a mysterious ability to uncover other people's secrets, was now glaring at my sister-in-law. What on earth is going on? I asked, dumbfounded. But the next moment, my sister-in-law uttered words that were beyond belief. I am Olivia Brown. I'm a 35-year-old homemaker. My husband, Michael, who is 1 year older, and I led peaceful days together. Our lives revolved around our 6-year-old son, Liam, and our 4-year-old daughter, Emma. There were times when Liam's mischievous behavior was hard to handle, or when Emma wouldn't stop crying, but even so, meeting these two brought me immense happiness. They were our treasures. And so, I spent each day smoothly with my kind husband and adorable children. However, there was one concern that weighed on me. One morning, just after seeing off my family and catching my breath, our home's intercom blared loudly.
I'm here again today.
My sister-in-law exclaimed. I hurriedly opened the door, only to find my sister-in-law, heavily made up and dressed in flashy clothes, shouting.
And this house looks dirty again.
She added. I was planning to clean up. I replied.
Always with the excuses.
She retorted.
Come on, you have a guest. Serve some tea.
She lounged on the sofa, remote control in hand, and started watching TV as if she owned the place. Internally, I let out a sigh. My constant source of frustration was my 45-year-old sister-in-law, Lisa. She lives alone nearby and seems to have taken a dislike to me. She frequently visits our home, complaining and poking around before leaving. Lisa once remarked,
Olivia, you look older again. Despite the 10-year age difference, I appear younger, don't I?
When I reluctantly brought her tea and snacks, she laughed without a word of thanks, mocking my appearance. She often taunted me, confident in her own looks. Admittedly, I don't bother with makeup like Lisa does, nor do I have much interest in fashion. Still, being consistently looked down upon didn't sit well with me. I've confided in my husband about these incidents, and he tries to address her. Michael, who originally had a calm personality, seems to have clashed with his sister since childhood, and it's said that nothing he says gets through to her. Frankly, it's more than just a nuisance. Unaware of my inner turmoil, she lounged comfortably in our home and then set her sights on a nearby jewelry box.
What's this? You actually have good taste.
She exclaimed. Oh. That's the necklace Michael gave me as a wedding gift. I replied.
Well, so it was originally purchased with our family money. I'll take it.
She declared. Wait a minute. Unfortunately, I had taken it out because I planned to wear it, but now I regret my decision. Before I could stop her, she snatched away my precious necklace. It wasn't the first time she'd claimed my belongings, asserting that they suited her better. As she confidently walked away, I watched her retreating figure, my brow furrowed. Despite her troublesome behavior, Lisa, my sister-in-law, was still part of my family. I harbored a faint desire for a better relationship, but at that moment, I couldn't assert myself against her. However, on one particular day, due to Lisa's actions, a surprising revelation unfolded in our home. It happened when Emma returned from kindergarten as usual.
Mom, something terrible happened. Aunt Lisa took money from your wallet.
As a generally quiet child, Emma's statement caught me off guard. I checked my wallet, half in disbelief, even if it might have been a joke. Lo and behold, the $200 I had placed inside was missing. Why would you know that the money is gone? I asked, astonished, peering into Emma's face. The reason for my surprise was that Lisa had indeed visited our home unannounced earlier. But she left just as Emma arrived, meaning they were in the house together for a mere few seconds. Even if my sister-in-law had taken the money, there was no way Emma could have witnessed the act. Perplexed, I patted my daughter's head as she proudly declared,
Mom, I can see everyone's secrets. Remember when you secretly ate ice cream while we weren't looking?
According to her, she could discern hidden truths just by looking at someone's face. It was an unbelievable claim, yet Emma seemed to have evidence, accurately guessing my secrets one after another. I have no idea when this started, but Emma possessed an inexplicable power. I marveled. That's incredible. To think such abilities exist. But Emma interrupted my thoughts, asking,
Mom, do we really need to call Aunt Lisa?
The surreal reality snapped me back. While Emma's testimony might not be reliable evidence, the only person who visited our home that day was Lisa. She was the only one who could have taken money from my wallet. When I confronted Lisa, she nonchalantly denied it, saying,
I have no idea. Maybe your forgetfulness is to blame?
Clearly, she had planned to play innocent from the start. Despite my attempts to contact her, Lisa hung up, irritable and uninterested in my response. She never touched money before. I sighed.
She has to return what she stole.
I stroked Emma's head. My feelings were a mix of frustration toward Lisa and astonishment at my daughter's mysterious power. Little did I know that this ability would prove invaluable in the future. The incident occurred about a week after discovering my daughter's abilities. This is strange. He should have finished classes by now, I thought. Although it was the usual time for him to be home, my son hadn't returned. Initially, I assumed he was out playing, but as darkness settled in, I grew increasingly worried. I contacted the school, but they confirmed he had returned home as usual. Even reaching out to his friends' houses yielded no results. Finally realizing it was an emergency, I immediately contacted my husband and the police, and together with Emma, we searched for Liam. Despite meticulously checking places he might be, there was no sign of our son.
Where could he have gone?
Emma wondered. Don't worry, we'll find him soon, I reassured her. As night fell, I held my despondent daughter close, trying to convince myself that everything would be all right. Liam, our son whom my husband and I have cherished, was missing. Although I was deeply worried, at that moment, I could only hold on to hope for his safety. However, my wishes remained unfulfilled, and even after a week, he hadn't been found. The police investigation continued, and I tirelessly searched whenever I could, but exhaustion weighed heavily on me. Where could that child have disappeared to? Anxious and on the verge of breaking down, I prepared to go out with Emma, who had a day off from kindergarten. That's when I heard a voice from the front door.
Hey! Open up.
I sighed heavily. It was probably Lisa visiting again, but I lacked the energy to deal with her. Still, I couldn't leave it unattended, so with a heavy heart, I opened the door. However, in the next moment, Emma, who had followed me to the front door, fixed Lisa with an intense gaze, a look I'd never seen before.
Why? Why are you trying to kill my brother?
Startled, I suddenly remembered something. Yes, Emma possessed a mysterious ability to uncover people's secrets. What on earth is going on? I stared at Lisa. Her heavily made-up face contorted, and her eyes widened as if she'd seen something terrifying when she looked at Emma. Lisa exclaimed.
What's wrong with this kid? She suddenly accuses me like that. Disgusting.
Lisa's face flushed, and she berated Emma in an agitated manner before abruptly turning on her heel and storming out. That reaction, she definitely knows something. While comforting my near teary-eyed daughter, I felt certain. Emma wasn't the type to hurl insults at people, and if there were nothing to hide, Lisa wouldn't have been so rattled. But to take action, I needed Emma's unique ability. Emma, tell me everything you know. Let's go rescue Liam. With determination, I spoke, and Emma nodded resolutely. As it turned out, Liam was at Lisa's house. Without hesitation, I took Emma with me and headed there. Afterward, it seemed my sister-in-law had gone out somewhere, and luckily, there was no car. Following Emma's advice, I found the spare key hidden in the mailbox, successfully infiltrating the house. Emma and I hurriedly searched every room. Finally, in the farthest corner, a room resembling a storage area, I spotted the figure I'd been searching for all along. Liam. I cried out, rushing to my exhausted son. He was still breathing, but he was chained and in a precarious state. How could this happen? I won't forgive her. And so, faced with my son's desperate condition, I vowed revenge against my sister-in-law. And then, a few hours later that night, I stood alone in front of Lisa's house, waiting for her return. My heart overflowed with anger after discovering my son. While I had overlooked some things because she's my sister-in-law, having her target my precious child was unacceptable. For Liam's sake, and because of the fear he'd endured, I felt justified in confronting her.
Why are you here?
Shortly afterward, Lisa, carrying a large paper bag, probably from shopping, arrived home in her car. Unable to contain myself, I confronted her. Why would you do something like that to my son? Lisa stammered, taken aback. He was chained up in this house. Explain yourself. As I glared at her, memories of a few hours earlier flooded my mind. Afterward, I managed to break the chains and rushed Liam to the hospital. Shockingly, the diagnosis revealed that he had been neglected for a week without proper food or water. The doctor said that if we had found him even slightly later, he might not have survived. Without Emma exposing Lisa's secret, I would never have seen my son again. How could anyone do such a thing to a child? I fumed.
What are you talking about? I had no idea any of this was happening.
But even now, Lisa seemed intent on denying everything, avoiding eye contact. Unyielding in my anger, I confronted her. You had motives, didn't you? Stealing from my wallet wasn't enough? I thrust several envelopes at her, reminders of debts she owed. Her eyes widened in shock. You see, I had learned about her secret from Emma.
Auntie has changed her appearance, so she doesn't have money.
I knew Lisa loved designer items and had recently turned to plastic surgery. As a result, she'd burned through her money, leaving her in dire straits. Her theft from my wallet was likely driven by desperation. After finding Liam, we discovered a stack of overdue notices in her house, confirming our suspicions. Did you plan to demand ransom? I asked.
What? Why are you in my house without permission?
First, you harmed my son. Just so you know, Emma has a mysterious ability. Lies won't work. Everything will be exposed. Now confess. I raised my voice to match her growing agitation. Suddenly, Lisa clenched her lips and fell silent. Whether she believed in Emma's power or not, perhaps the shocking words, "Why are you killing my brother?" echoed in her mind.
You. It's all your fault. You took everything from me, even my money.
After a few seconds of silence, she finally spilled the truth. According to her, drowning in debt and unable to pay rent, Lisa first sought help from my parents-in-law. But knowing her spending habits, they turned her away, saying they had no money to spare.
But they bought clothes and toys for your kids.
Lisa protested. Those are completely different matters. I retorted.
Enough. It's because of that child that I can't lend you money.
Lisa's words left me speechless. Unbelievably, she blamed her inability to borrow money on my son and daughter. She'd pushed her lack of credibility onto them.
So, I thought if I got rid of your children, they'd lend me money.
Lisa's face reddened as she shouted. I trembled with anger, facing her defiant outburst. It appears that Lisa had intended to harm our son after the search efforts had dwindled. Perhaps, if things went well with Liam, she planned to target our daughter as well. The fact that she was willing to jeopardize our precious children's lives for her own appearance enhancement was unforgivable. You're despicable. Always thinking about yourself. That kind of mindset is why no one will help you. I shouted in anger, but it seemed Lisa hadn't given up on escaping.
Despicable? Well, while I'm at it, I might as well silence you here too.
In the next moment, Lisa glared at me and lunged forward. However, I hadn't come here without a plan. Instinctively bracing myself, I heard a stern voice from my pocket.
Don't move.
What? Who?
Startled by the sudden voice, Lisa froze, her eyes wide. While observing her, I discreetly pulled out my smartphone from my pocket. I'm on the phone with my husband. Plus, I've been recording everything since earlier, so your attempts to silence me are futile. In truth, at Michael's request, I'd been on the phone with him even before coming here. Realizing that there wouldn't be any concrete evidence left after rescuing our son before involving the police, I reluctantly decided to gather decisive proof by guiding her through this conversation and recording it all. It seems my plan had worked brilliantly.
No. No, no. You won't tell the police, will you?
Huh?
I'll apologize. Look, your son is safe now. Can't we just let this go?
As Lisa clung to me, her face pale, I sighed heavily. Even after everything, she still didn't grasp the gravity of her actions. How self-centered could she be? It's obvious we're reporting this. Besides, as soon as you confessed, Michael contacted the police. They should be arriving soon. Brushing her off, I explained, and Lisa's face turned even paler as she realized she had no escape.
Please. Forgive me. I don't want to go to the police.
Her makeup smeared from crying, she finally sank to her knees. But as sirens approached, she remained defeated, and the police took her away. In the end, Lisa was arrested after being taken to the police station. Her severe sentence reflected the gravity of her actions, and she wouldn't be out of prison for a while. While relieved, I couldn't simply forgive her. Through a lawyer, we're also seeking $30,000 in compensation. My husband and parents-in-law have cut ties with her completely, so even if she's released, Lisa faces a debt-ridden future. Meanwhile, our family moved to a quieter town, cherishing happier days than ever before. For the sake of our beloved children, my husband and I will continue to protect this peaceful life.
How did you find this story? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.